This is a tough one. This is a real tough one. I've seen the movie. I ran everything through my head several times. I've seen the original Tron movie. I played through the Kingdom Hearts 2 level of Tron. Man, I can only come to one conclusion. It's so hard to say. I can get it out. I liked Tron Legacy. I said it. I liked the movie that came out. I liked Tron Legacy. Now, naturally, there was a lot of things I had to consider. And for me, the things the movie offered outweighed the things that the movie lacked. And there were some things the movie lacked, and I'll explain that in a moment. But first, for those who have not seen the original Tron, let me do a brief review of that. In the original Tron, the guy named Kevin Flynn made game programs, and he was working for this company called Encom. And basically, the guy that was working in the company, Dillinger, he stole Flynn's games and said that he made them. And Flynn got kicked out, and Dillinger moved up in the ladder of the company. And Dillinger made this program called the Master Control Program. And it was basically this program that was controlling the entire, software system inside the company. And one of the employees that's a friend of Flynn, Bradley. Yeah, Bradley. He made the program Tron to go after the Master Control Program. And in the movie, some things happen, and Flynn makes his way back into the company, and he doesn't work there anymore. And he gets zapped into the actual computer grids. And he and Tron make their way to the Master Control Program, and along the way, Sora, Donald, and Goofy help take on Sark and the Master Control Program, and they kill it off, and they create some utopia for all the programs to live in harmony or whatever. And then Tron is left in charge of everything, and Flynn gets back to the real world. And Sora, Donald, and Goofy make their way back to Hollow Bastion, also known as the Radiant Gardens. And actually, the whole part, for those who don't know, the part with Sora, Donald, and Goofy, of course, is from the Kingdom Hearts 2 game. I just couldn't help making that reference because that was one of my favorite levels in Kingdom Hearts 2. But in the new movie, it starts off where the movie, the last one, left off, sort of. What we see is, in the future of the first one, Flynn has a kid, and he's still working inside the, cyber world, inside the whole, I don't know what the cyberspace, whatever you want to call it. And things go wrong, and he ends up disappearing, and his kid ends up growing up without his dad. He's 12, he grows up, finds his dad's little underground workplace, and then gets zapped into cyberspace, or whatever the heck it's called. I'm going to call it cyberspace. Tron World, whatever. And that's where this movie picks up with the son, and I forget his freaking name. What was his name? Sam. Yeah, Sam Flynn. And let's see. The story of the second one, Sam gets zapped into the world and everything, and basically his dad and Sam have to fight off a program that his dad made that was basically a replica of himself that tried to perfect the whole cyberspace world, but it ended up, it's one of those things that we see over and over and over again. The journey, seeking perfection, just, destroy stuff. Every time there's artificial life, it's a cliched story. That's one thing I didn't really like about it. There's also some elements from Star Wars and freaking The Matrix that I didn't like. But basically that's the story, is that Sam and his dad have to fight off Clue, which is basically the clone of his dad, and get back to the real world and free all the programs in cyberspace and stop him from trying to, take over the whole world through cyberspace. Now, where this movie really excels is at the visuals. The visuals were just amazing. The 3D. Thank you. Thank you for having 3D in a movie and it actually be 3D. It was wonderful. I was expecting, Last Airbender or Clash of the Titans. But this was actual 3D. The 3D actually gave the movie a sense of depth. And that I did enjoy. That was one of the things I was really worried about. Let's see, what else? So the action sequences. Now, just like in the original movie, you're going to see the whole disc fighting thing, and you're going to see the light cycles. Now, those parts in this movie were absolutely stunning. I loved them. The fights were amazing. The light cycles were awesome. The entire world they created in this movie was just awesome. But the one thing they didn't have for this amazing world they created was the darn substance. That's what I really wanted, was a great story. Not no cliched, I'm made to make things perfect, but I'm going to kill everyone or kill all the humans. We've seen it in iRobot. We've seen it in so many freaking movies. If they had a great story to go with that amazing atmosphere they created for the movie, they could have had a masterpiece. But unfortunately, they didn't. But what we see in this movie, we have a few characters. We have Flynn, the dad, Flynn, the son, and they're not too interesting. Kevin Flynn, the dad, he's a pretty cool guy. He's a dad that, your best friend would have, that, he's really cool. He gives his son allowance and all that kind of stuff. But the actual main character was pretty boring. That's one thing I really hated. He reminded me a lot of, what's that dude's name? He was kind of like a Nicolas Cage, except it was a bit more energy. That's what he seemed like to me. Others might not feel that way, but that's what I felt. And we get introduced to this chick called Cora. Now, Cora is what they call an ISO. And an ISO is a type of program that just manifested on its own. And these programs are going to change the world. Cora is one fine written program. After I'd be done with her, she'll need to be defragmented. I would clean that disc. Man. I would clean it until I shut down. There was some fine women in this movie. And there was even Yaya from America's Next Top Model. I know no one watches that show anymore, but I recognized her from the first moment I saw her because Yaya was just fine. The pacing of the movie and the story was quite nice. You had the slow moments, the funny moments, the action-packed moments, the flying moments, the disc-throwing moments. A lot of great elements to this movie. But unfortunately, the main character being dull and the story being cliched just kind of really pissed me off. But I still do believe that a lot of people can enjoy this film because it does offer a really grand experience. It throws you into this cool looking world. You have hot chicks in tight programmed clothing. And you have great action sequences. And one thing I also didn't enjoy was that it wasn't much like the original Tron movie. Sure, they had some of the same elements, the cyber world, the light, the game grids, the disc throwing, and the light cycles. But in the original movie, everything seemed more like you were in a virtual world, like everything really was a program. In this movie, everything is so lively and energetic, it felt like they were just on Omega in Mass Effect 2. which is quite nice. But this is not like the original Tron. This is a sequel to Tron. In the original Tron, they're all like, Master Control, I will find those random programs and I will destroy them. But in this one, sir, I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna take them out. Or, yeah, let's go have some fun. Oh, let's do this. It didn't seem like the Tron world, like in the original. So if there's gonna be any real hardcore fans of original Tron, they're probably gonna be disappointed, because they didn't really bring over the world and how the characters acted from that into this newer one. And that's all I got to say about Tron Legacy. I would suggest watching the original first, because you always get a better understanding of the second one if you watch the original. And it's always fun to compare the two. And you don't want to be that guy when you go to work and everyone is, comparing the first one to the second one, and you've never even seen the first one, and God forbid that you never knew there was a first one. So go watch that first one first and then see the second one. I do believe you will enjoy this film, regardless of the boring main character, the cliched story, and the not so Tronish world that they inhibited into the film that was already based in the first movie. That's all I got to say. This is Black Critics Critics telling you, Tron Legacy. Check it out.